What's up guys, Causeway Giant here, and as I'm sure most of you Star Wars Rebels fans know, the third season of the show recently came to a close, and boy was it a good one. Darth Maul back in action, well at least for some of it. Ah well, at least Maul's makeup stylist will be able to relax. I mean look at those tattoos, God help the person who had to sit down and get all that right, sheesh. But even better, the introduction of Grand Admiral Thrawn to canon, one of my all-time favourite Star Wars characters. So what I'm going to be doing today is going through my personal favourite 3 episodes of the series. Remember, this is just my opinion, which will more than likely be different than yours, so be sure to comment your list down below. Also, just a side note, I've been getting a few messages of people asking if they can play Battlefront with me on Xbox, so if you do, my gamertag will appear on screen right now and I'll get round to friending you all because I'd love to start playing with you awesome people who are subscribed to the channel. But without further ado, let's get on with the list. One of the main reasons why I love this episode is because it explores new aspects of what life would be like on an Imperial installation. The opening POV shot, yes, an actual POV shot in Star Wars, shows Kallus waking up inside his quarters. And even though Kallus is a fairly high-ranking Imperial officer, his living quarters are dreary and very claustrophobic, which just shows how little the Empire actually cares about the well-being of its personnel. We also get to see the code cylinders that the Imperial officers carry about in their pockets in action, which was nice because I always wondered what those things were for. Kallus himself was very clever in this episode. The way he sneaks around, manipulating List into thinking that Price is the spy was really good improvisation, as the poor guy has to make sure Ezra isn't seen, make sure he isn't a suspect, and, you know, do his job. But he really keeps his cool, which I think sums up Kallus's character pretty well. It was nice seeing Yularen again, even though he's a traitor, but still, I always liked Yularen, and it was interesting learning that Kallus was one of Yularen's star pupils. But what I love most about Through Imperial Eyes was Thrawn. This and the first episodes of the series are my favourite depictions of Thrawn in the show, and I'm glad that we got a sneak peek at him fighting those droids, showing that he has brawn as well as brains. Thrawn? No? Okay. I hope that eventually we'll see him putting these skills to the test against Ezra or Kanan or Zeb later on in the show, because I think that he would be able to handle himself pretty well. And the way that he expertly deduces that Kallus is fulcrum due to the artwork on Ezra's helmet and completely outsmarts everyone is classic Legends Thrawn, and I'm so glad that we're starting to be able to see his amazing expertise in the new canon. Wow, I don't think that I've ever been as hyped for an episode of Rebels than what I was for Twin Suns. Finally, we get the third and final confrontation between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul, 2 characters with so much history together, and 2 of which who have experienced such massive losses at the hands of the other. It's amazing how Dave Filoni and the Clone Wars and Rebels crew were able to turn a character who had hardly any lines on the Phantom Menace into one of the most complex in the whole saga. At first I was a little iffy about them bringing back Maul, and although it still makes no sense how he was able to survive being cut in half, falling down a massive drop, being transported to another planet, surviving on his own for years with hardly any food, and being tortured by Darth Sidious, I'm so glad that he stuck along this long, as it has created a truly great character out of a ninja with cool tattoos. Unfortunately for Maul, as most people expected, he is finally killed off in this episode, but definitely not in the way that most people, including me, thought that he would die. Like all of that build up, and then the fight only lasts like 1.5 seconds. At first I was so disappointed by this, and I was actually considering putting this on my top 3 least favourite Rebels episodes, but after rewatching the episode I understood the symbolicness of it. Maul has been fueled by only hatred and revenge and is only a shell of his former self, whereas Obi-Wan has grown wise and has a greater understanding of both the Force and life in general, which he points out in their confrontation. Maul hasn't adapted at all and attempted the exact same move that killed Qui-Gon, though Obi-Wan's wisdom was ready for it and cut him down. The duel actually ended up being more like a classic samurai confrontation than a lightsaber fight, and I have to applaud them for doing something out of the ordinary. And I loved how Maul dies in Obi-Wan's arms, telling Obi-Wan that Luke will avenge them, showing that he was deceived just like everybody else. But all in all, a great final confrontation to end the history between 2 of Star Wars' finest characters. I am so glad that this episode was made. After the final few episodes of the Clone Wars were cancelled, I was so disappointed that after so many seasons we weren't going to get a definitive finale to the show. Rebels kinda alluded to it, especially the episodes with Rex, but it was never enough to give me complete closure. Then along came the last battle, and it was everything that I hoped for. First off, it's another episode with Rex, and Rex is one of my favourite characters, mainly because I feel I've grown up around him. So the fact that he is so determined to win this battle against an old separatist his tactical droid and his legions of droids reflected how I felt as well. The way that Ezra compares his desire to win to be similar to the tactical droid gives an interesting perspective on how the clones are kind of programmed to kill, just like the droids. The nostalgia in this episode hit me hard, and we got so many callbacks to the Clone Wars series, like the Battle Droid's voice actor is back and they're just as useless as ever. Rex mentions the Battle of Geonosis at the end, and a K2-Neimoidian shuttle is chosen as the replacement for the Phantom. But my favourite part of the episode was when the Empire arrived and the two sides who have been enemies for so long put aside their differences for the greater good, officially ending the war and going up against the oncoming Imperial forces. The fact that the battle droids get absolutely wrecked by the AT-ATs just shows how powerful and superior the Empire is. But I've got to say, the way that they took down the huge walkers was really well done, and I'm glad that not all the droids died, allowing them to have some kind of victory. And oh man, the fact that they did the outro in the style of the Clone Wars theme was a really nice touch. Nostalgia hit me so hard. But really, I'm just so glad that we finally have a definitive finale for the Clone Wars, and this is why The Last Battle is my favourite episode of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. Well, there we are guys, that's my top 3 favourite episodes of the 3rd season of Star Wars Rebels. Let me know what you think. Was it similar to yours, or am I just completely wrong? Be sure to leave your list in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for my top 3 least favourite episodes of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. But in the meantime, remember, if you liked, then please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Causeway Giant out.